Friendship is magic. That much is obvious. But on close inspection, the seemingly innocent phrase holds the answer to everything. It's not friendship is magical, it's friendship is magic. There is little or no distinction between the two. Friendship actually is magic, which must mean in turn that magic is friendship. Twilight Sparkle is one of the most magically attuned ponies in Equestria. She has the potential, as we see in later episodes, to achieve Algon level power and skills. Her talent is magic, and one could argue that her entire raison d'etre is magic. And if we assume that friendship is magic and magic is friendship, that must mean that Twilight Sparkle is one of the most powerful ponies in Equestria when it comes to friendship. You might ask then, why isn't she outgoing and surrounded by friends at the beginning of the show then? Well, just because your lungs have an extremely high oxygen uptake potential and your leg muscles have great strength potential, that doesn't mean you will be able to run very well if you have never trained as a runner. That is, I posit, the reason Twilight doesn't have any real friends at the beginning of the show. She most likely followed a similar path as that of Starswirl, learning just one side of the magic friendship coin. With that established, I will now try to explain why I believe that the events of the first two episodes of the show aren't as unplausible as they might at first seem. Let's start with number one, the timing and what is Celestia's deal. The only thing we know for sure is that Twilight did figure out the prophecy and came to the right conclusion. We can't know what would have happened if she didn't. We do know, however, that Celestia is, or at least was, and we have no reason to believe she now isn't, is able to wield the elements of harmony. We also know that she was able to defeat Nightmare Moon before. We can, in my opinion, then, assume that she was reasonably confident that she could defeat her once again. So, as I see it, she indeed was taking a gamble with Twilight, but not big of a gamble, as she most likely had a contingency plan. So, the likely scenario is, as soon as Celestia received the letter from Twilight, she knew that Twi was ready to take on the challenge of defeating Nightmare Moon, and she asked her to go to Ponyville, hoping that what we now know happened would happen. It would be trivial for Celestia to follow Twilight and the main six in disguise or invisible, to make sure nothing would go wrong, or to intervene if it did, and that is what I believe actually happened. Let's move on to number two, the five harmonious and sticky mares. Fair warning, I'll be doing a bit of headcanoning here. Assuming still the magic friendship equivalence, this one is pretty simple, although not that easy to explain. First of all, the main six are not the elements of harmony. The elements are a physical/symbolic representation of six facets of the superforce that is magic. If you pardon the physics metaphor, magic is like the electromagnetic force, which binds electrons around atomic nuclei, but is responsible for a myriad of other phenomena. In that same way, I believe, magic attracts the main six together. My theory is that the main six are not unique in any way. At the beginning of the show, they weren't the only ponies capable of wielding the elements. It's just that Twilight's magic, which is also friendship, attracted the ponies together. They were compatible, they were what each other was lacking. The magical field was, in a way, pushing them together without them realizing it. If magic is friendship, and friendship is best represented by the six elements, it must follow that there is a certain pattern ingrained in the entire structure of magic, a pattern that the main six fell into almost perfectly. It's not that Applejack is the most honest pony in Equestria or Rainbow Dash the most loyal. It's just that they were the best fit at the right place at the right time for the traits that the elements exemplify. Well, okay. Number 3, the challenges. There is a clear message to the show. Friendship is one of the most important aspects of life, and with great friends, you can achieve anything. This is also what the challenges showed, that you can overcome every obstacle if you have friends. Simplifying the problem, if Nightmare Moon tried literally everything she could to stop the main six, and you can overcome every problem with the power of friendship represented by the elements, it must follow that every trait of every pony in the main six would be used in one way or another. So, to recap, Twilight isn't Celestia's first student. She is one of the brightest, though, with the most talent, so is a great fit for the catalyst of the elements of harmony. When the 1,000 years of imprisonment are up, Twilight, either by coincidence or with subtle help from Celestia, discovers the prophecy and reacts appropriately, prompting Celestia to send her to Ponyville, hoping she would attract good matches for the elements. Celestia disguises herself in some way and follows to make sure nothing goes horribly wrong, which is why we don't see her until the end. Twilight goes to Ponyville, and thanks to the power of her magic, attracts the ponies that best exemplify the traits required by the Elements of Harmony pattern. The magical force of friendship basically takes care of the rest, making sure that their bond is instant and strong. The main six then travel through the forest, with Nightmare Moon throwing obstacles from every part of the spectrum in their way. Solving every problem they encounter, using ostensibly every trait needed to overcome any problem, they reach the castle. Twilight realizes that the bond she shares with the girls is that of friendship, which is also magic. A magical reaction occurs, Nightmare Moon is defeated, Celestia reveals herself, yada yada yada, you know the rest. I admit, there are a few holes in this theory, but it would take a few more videos of this length to fill them with what I have in my head, so I'll just leave it at that. Please be gentle.